last night in Pennsylvania, when the president was supposed to be explaining to everybody how inflation and affordability is a big hoax, he ended up just telling them that while his family is going to have a billionaire Christmas with toys under the tree for all the kids, they'll get everything that they want, the rest of us should just do without. That's how you solve inflation and affordability. You just stop buying the things that you want. So your kids that have been dreaming of toys and presents all year, just don't buy them for them. They don't really need it. Buy them like one thing. People can see for themselves. I don't know how his supporters can believe what's coming out of their mouth. When you go to the store, things are more expensive. When you look up toys, they're more expensive. People can see it in their bank accounts, and they can feel it when they look at their children this year and they don't have enough money to buy what they'd like to. And once again, he doesn't look well. He went off on some tangent about how our kids also don't need pencils. They just need to learn to work in a steel factory. Merry Christmas.
I mean, the president claimed he was coming here to talk about rising costs and what his plan was to address that. And very quickly he veered off topic. And by the way, he started hurling insults at people and making it harder for our country to heal from the sort of political violence that we have seen. He claims that, rising costs are a hoax. I mean, I talk to Pennsylvanians all day, every day, and they're struggling because of these federal policies. They're struggling because of the tariffs the president put in place. They're struggling because of his failed economic policies that gave a tax cut to people who didn't need it and instead has taken health care away from hundreds of thousands of Pennsylvanians. The good news for Pennsylvanians is, despite the challenges from the federal government, we're working together, Democrats and Republicans alike, to cut taxes, put money back in people's pockets. We've cut taxes 7 times over the last 3 years. For seniors, for families trying to afford childcare, we just passed an earned income tax credit, working families tax credit, to help 940,000 Pennsylvanians who are working and who need a little bit of extra help. We're investing more in food security while the federal government's taking money away. So costs are rising because of those failed economic policies from the federal government. What I would have liked to see the president do is show up in our Commonwealth, instead of hurling insults, actually show up with plans to reduce costs. That would make people's lives better.
Now, I know some of y'all like the tea. Is that what you call it? The tea? I don't know. Anyway, I think I have some on Venezuela and oil. Yeah. Here we go. Drink it up. The United States has ordered the forced sale of Citgo, Venezuela's oil company. Yeah. Who are they forcing them to sell to? Hedge fund Elliott Investment Management for $5.9 billion. It is so bad that you guys already know where this is going. Yes, Elliott Investment Management donated $7 million to the Trump campaign. Yes. And the owner of the fund, Paul Singer, he donated $5 million to Trump's Political Action Committee. And let's not forget the $63.5 million he's donated to all Republicans, or the fact that he bought a massive stake, $3.2 billion in AT&T. And Donald Trump was super happy about that because he thought that would fix CNN's fake news problem. Still think it's not about oil? Thanks.
Last night, Grandpa had some extremely racist and bigoted thoughts, even by his own standards. So, of course, he waited until he was in front of a microphone to express them. And there's a reason why so many of us have a playlist ready to go when the big, beautiful obituary drops. And it is this: every other administration in my lifetime, even if they were a disaster, even if it was a big steaming pile of dookie dog shit, had at least one molecule that you could point to and say, you know what, that was good. For example, George W. Bush, war criminal extraordinaire. After 9/11, he came out and he forcefully and repeatedly told Americans not to blame Muslims and not to blame Arabs. Ronald Reagan, arguably the architect of our current financial hellscape with his deregulation and trickle-down economics, spoke of America in very aspirational and inspiring terms. He called us the shining city on a hill. He also granted amnesty to 3 million illegal immigrants. Bill Clinton, predator sex pest, balanced the budget. But for the first time in my life, we have a president where I can't find one redeeming quality. Not one. Okay? Not his foreign policy, not his domestic policy, not the way in which he talks about America in glowing terms. You know, people who hated Jimmy Carter, they all admitted we don't like his policies. We don't think he's a very good president, but he's a really good man. You can't say that about Donald Trump. And like in most cases, your humanity kicks in and you're like, you shouldn't hope for somebody's demise because like, what about their family? Like they have a family, right? Yeah, what about his family? You mean the daughter that he wants to fuck? You mean his wife that he cheated on with a porn star? Richard Nixon, corrupt, unhinged lunatic, okay, founded the EPA and OSHA and the Endangered Species Act. Yet Trump lacks such empathy. He's like the first president in like, I don't know, over 100 years to not have a pet in the White House. I mean, Jesus Christ, even Coolidge reportedly had a pet raccoon. George H.W. Bush lost re-election. And guess what? He accepted the results. He didn't try to overthrow the government. Okay? So until somebody can show me a little bright spot with this current situation, I am not going to feel bad checking the news every morning, hoping that today's the day.
We talk about test scores. Well, if you subtract immigration out of test scores, all of a sudden our test scores skyrocket.
That was Stephen Miller of the bad news. What's the bad news? That guy is in charge of our immigration policy. He's the brains behind it. The good news is he really doesn't have any brains. Let's talk about Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller lives in cognitive dissonance. His great-grandfather, an immigrant, came here in 1903. Stephen Miller, he's anti-immigrant. Stephen Miller, a white supremacist, that's what he is Jewish. You can't be a white supremacist and Jewish at the same time. It's not possible. Stephen, what were they shouting? If you're listening, Stephen, what were they shouting in Charlottesville? Jews will not replace us. Yeah, they were talking about you, Stephen. Stephen Miller, woo-woo-woo, thinks that if we get rid of all our immigrants, our test scores will skyrocket. Guess what, Stephen? If we do that, we'll lose 40 to 50% of our Nobel Prize winners. Add in children of immigrants. I'm a child of immigrants. My parents, Holocaust survivors, yeah. America didn't want them either, just like Stephen Miller doesn't want immigrants. Probably have to add another 25% of our Nobel Prize winners. No, I have not won a Nobel Prize, but there have been 2 generations of satellites in space because of my work. Laws have been written that have cited my work. Yeah, I've bragged enough today. And it's not just Nobel Prize winners we'd lose. I live in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley would be a ghost town without immigrants. What Stephen Miller is demanding would cause the collapse of the American economy. Do you want the American economy to collapse? I didn't think so. The good news about Stephen Miller is that, yeah, he can't think straight. Something's wrong with him. He's evil, but he's also incompetent. And he's the brains behind our deportation program, which is why, they want to deport about 1 million people this year. They'll be lucky to deport half that. More good news, Stephen Miller's boss, Donald Trump, his popularity is tanking because he's incompetent, as incompetent as Stephen Miller. And, his mind is going month by month. Actually, day by day, you can see him decline. He's probably not going to make it to 2028. We have an election to win in 2026. We are going to have an election. We can Donald Trump. Then we can throw the GOP out in 2028, throw Stephen Miller into the dustbin of history.
If you're not talking about Donald Trump the way Governor Gavin Newsom is talking about Donald Trump, then I'll be honest, you're not fit to be in office.
I think Trump is one of the most destructive presidents and human beings in my lifetime. I think this republic is at real risk, this country being unrecognizable. And I have no patience for people that want to indulge it. I can't stand the crony capitalism. I can't stand all these supplicants that are sitting there bending the knee to this president. I can't stand the universities that have done that, the law firms that have done that, the individual corporate leaders that have done that, the other governors, maybe Democrats and Republicans that have been complicit at this moment. This guy is reckless. He's wrecked this country. We'll not have a fair and free election if we don't continue to fight. That's what matters to me, seriously. I'm the future ex-governor, and who the hell knows what happens the rest of my life, except one thing I know that matters in the rest of my life is I have to look at my kids in the goddamn eye. I mean that. Seriously. That's not like a politician thing. To look them in the eye and say that not a peril of being judged, not to have lived in the moment.
All I gotta say is thank you, Governor Gavin Newsom, for once again standing up to Donald Trump and making sure he knows that you will not bend the knee. I've been saying what Governor Gavin Newsom has been saying. Donald Trump is the most dangerous person on the planet. His incompetence, his vile, evil nature allows him to do things and influence people to do the most unethical things known to mankind. I'll give him his props. I'll give Donald Trump his props on one thing. The amount of Kool-Aid that he has been able to convince his supporters to consume and drink at all of his campaign rallies, or as I like to call them, circuses. This is going to go down in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most successful circus running operation ever known to human history, ever known to mankind.
I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shithole, you did. Remember I said that to the senators that came in? The Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. So they came in and they said, this is totally off the record. Nothing mentioned here. We want to be honest because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting. And I said, why is it we only take people from shithole countries? Right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships.
So Trump would prefer immigrants to come from Norway and Sweden and Denmark. I wonder why that is. Is it because they're white? Oh, let me just point out that the only refugees America's taking in at the moment are white South Afrikaners. So look at that. And all of these countries, shitholes, all of these countries have one thing in common. Have all been colonized at some point by Western imperialism. Western imperialism has created these shitholes, Trump. I absolutely can't. Afghanistan. Do you not remember that you went over there and destroyed the country? And the reason why you have so many Afghani refugees in America is a lot of them worked for you in Afghanistan. This man is beyond a joke. We might as well say that he considers America for white people, forgetting that he's actually living on stolen land. This land belongs to the indigenous people, the indigenous brown people. Do they get a say in who's allowed in and who's not? Because we're always talking about occupation, but we've forgotten that America is one of the biggest occupiers out there. They are occupying indigenous land and no one is talking about it.
You're not going to believe this shit. Here's your latest unhinged headlines. First up, will Dumpy release the full video of the Venezuelan boat strikes? But don't ask.
Are you admitting to releasing the full video?
Didn't I just tell you that?
You said that it was
You're
up
the
to
most
Secretary Hicks.
obnoxious reporter in the whole place. Let me just tell you, you are an obnoxious, a terrible reporter.
I feel like we're 1 week away before he's just... And he just does this now? Verbally assaults female reporters? Obnoxious, terrible, stupid, horrible, piggy? You might as well just chew up an executive order and fire it through a straw. Next, if you're not farmers, Chitler's here to save the day.
We gave the farmers a little help, $12 billion, and they are so happy. And all they want is a level playing field. And now it's happening, and the tariffs are making them rich.
Rich? Your tariffs. Really? The ones that caused so many farming bankruptcies, they're calling it Farmageddon? Okay. So you set fire to the field and your solution is to piss in the sprinkler. Because $6 billion divided by approximately 2 million farmers is about $6,000 each. What are they supposed to do with that? Buy some rope and a ladder? And speaking of farmers, Dumpy is rolling back environmental regulations on farm machinery. For a very good reason.
You really have to be, in many cases, you need about 185 IQ to turn on a lawnmower.
Dude. Huh? Was someone sniffing the gas before he poured it in? IQ of 185. Okay. I forget. Was it the power button or the pull cord that stumped Einstein before he was rescued by the third grader? And finally, a new twist on a Christmas classic, read by Melania.
Santa told me that the osprey floated through the sky like a giant snowflake, but it is way faster than a sleigh could ever fly.
Santa rides a military helicopter now. Sure. Where's Rudolph? On a kamikaze mission to Caracas? And is that list Santa's checking twice still naughty or nice? Or conscription? Follow for more unhinged headlines.
Oh my gosh, we have so much political news to cover today. I can't. We have not one, not two, 3 freaking articles of impeachment have been introduced. Oh, hell to the yes. And is the ICC entering the chat? Or should I say the ICC is being dragged into the chat, being threatened, grabbed by the collar and threatened by the Trump administration. Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll get to the ICC in a second. Let's talk impeachment. So, Pete Hegseth now has 2 articles of impeachment brought against him. And now, so does RFK Jr. and I wouldn't call him a dark horse candidate, but I'm surprised he made the list before Kristi Noem. So the article against Hegseth are both for Signalgate and for what he's doing in the Caribbean. And I think RFKs are like, for his attack on science. Like, just the whole ass science. Okay, so here's where this gets really juicy, all right? Because most naysayers like to shit on it and say, well, it's Republican Congress and nothing's going to happen and it's meaningless. First of all, any formal action is not meaningless because that meant somebody grew a spine and brought the articles forward. Yeah, and that's what we want. Yeah. And number 2, remember, the only reasons that these might not go anywhere is fucking Mike Johnson. And what is happening with Mike Johnson? And the battering ram, and he's lost control of the women, and his caucus doesn't have any confidence in him whatsoever, and they're whispering that if they held a vote tomorrow, he wouldn't have the support to stay. Y'all, I'm telling you, it is only a matter of time until they have had enough and they yank him out, and then the shit is really gonna hit the fan. So this is juicy. Any way you look at this, this is juicy. Okay, let's talk ICC. This is great. Again, great in like this gossipy what the fuck kind of way. All right, so apparently the Trump administration is specifically harassing the ICC to get immunity for Trump and top officials. Like, if that is not giving guilty, I don't know what is. Like, nothing has even been formally brought against him, and they're already so concerned that things will be that they're trying to force immunity to say, no, you can't, nope, against the rules, time out, guys. And it's like, do you remember? Those of you 4 a.m. Club OGs, do you remember last year when I was getting the giggles over these assholes, and I was like, their energy, they have no power, and one thing I specifically said, this was when Trump was trying to retroactively get immunity during the campaign trail, and I was like, this is giving when you tell a kid to clean their room, like, is your room clean? And they're like, yeah, just don't look in the closet. Like, this is that same energy, right? Right? Like, I don't need to beg the ICC to give me immunity because I haven't committed crimes against humanity. Where there's fucking smoke, there's fire, right, Trump, right? But this is not just next level paranoia, because according to Reuters, who broke this story, there is open chatter, in quotes, open chatter among the legal community and the ICC community that they're going to bring charges, articles, whatever they're called, against him the second he leaves office. Again, what? Did you just said that? Yeah, I fucking did. Okay, now, before any of you want to argue about the Rome Statute, and we're not a member party, stop. Okay, stop. There's a couple of very important things to understand about the International Criminal Court. While it is true we are not a party to the Rome Statute, the Rome Statute is not complete. And there are two very important caveats to know. Number one, individuals can be prosecuted. And this is why the ICC has also brought charges on Netanyahu. They got a friggin' warrant out for his arrest right now. Nobody has the balls to arrest him yet, but that's a problem for another day. So that's what Trump is trying to do, is say, no, I need immunity. I get immunity. You better amend that Rome Statute because I get immunity. The second important thing to note is, even if one country is not a party, if they commit these crimes against another country, that is, the ICC has jurisdiction. And to my count, both Venezuela and El Salvador, where American actions have been egregious and in the war crime territory, yeah, there's a twofer right there. They're both part of the ICC. They're both ICC member states. All right, so listen, I know a lot of people want to say, until it's a done deal, I'm not getting excited about it. I'm not holding my breath. But guys, you are missing out. This is so juicy, so gossipy, so freaking exciting. Why are you not excited? Why is this not fun for you? Are you not entertained? This is like every day, a new absurdity, a new headline, the noose getting tighter. This is gold. I am living for it. I mean, obviously, can you tell? I'm freaking manic over here. Guys, I'm telling you, you cannot write this level of both political intrigue and idiocy. Like the absurdity, the ineptitude of this administration, of this cabinet, it's like a new absurdist joy every day. And like, this is not me bypassing the reality of the suffering, of the egregious acts they're doing. Not at all. And if you follow me and you know my body of work, you know I'm not bypassing that, period. I'm mad as hell and deeply concerned about all of it. But the thing is, if we are here as activists, okay, we cannot be effective as activists if we are defeated and only furious. Fury's good. Anger moves it forward, but we will burn ourselves out. We will not make it through the movement if we cannot find the joy and laugh and have levity. And you also got to start getting a little more excited for every little minor victory, every little movement. If you say, I will not be happy until it is all said and done, you're heaping misery upon yourself. Okay, this is a process. This is a journey. As we know, we're 1 year in, right? It's a fucking journey. You are only making this harder on yourself if you cannot find the joy and the levity and share in every victory. Rejoice in every victory, however small, along the way. Because I tell you what, you know what is happening? Is Trump is actively shitting his pants, literally, over every single one of these moves. So if he can be so deeply bothered by all of this stuff, surely you can get excited about that, right? Y'all, he is our head clown. He is our chosen villain. We are using him as the archetype of destruction that we are actively in the war to dismantle, to defeat him. He's playing his part. I'm playing mine. Let's laugh and get giddy at every step along the way. That is our gift for staying in the fight.